The Wagner mercenary group says it's handing over Bakhmut to the Russian military as anti-Putin militia fighters say they'll step up their actions.
Greek MEP and former Vice President of the European Parliament Eva Khali is allowed to remove an electronic bracelet and is freed from house arrest.
European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen visits flood-devastated areas in Italy's Emilia-Romagna region and says financial aid is on its way. The German government is in disarray after statistics show the economy contracted 0.3% in the first quarter, signalling a recession.
The chief of the Wagner mercenary group, Yevgeny Prigozhin, says his fighters have started to leave Bakhmut. The video message on social media follows his claim to have taken control of the city, a claim Kyiv denied. He said he'll leave Bakhmut to the Russian military, which he's frequently criticised.
Если военным будет трудно, безусловно, мы оставим тех, кто имел основную роль в захвате Бахмута.
But the seizure of Bakhmut has been overshadowed by the incursion into Russian territory of anti-Putin Russian militias, and they've promised to keep up the pressure on Moscow.
Если вчера это было несколько десятков километров территории, то завтра это будут сотни квадратных километров территории. Это уже будет не деревня, а областной центр. И найдутся люди, которые нам помогут в России, которые нас давно уже ждут.
Meanwhile, Russia continues to strike different targets in raids. Kyiv suffered a new mass drone attack overnight. Ukrainian authorities claim to have shot down 36 drones in 3 hours.
Thank you. My daughter is waiting for me, so I'm very happy that I will be with her in a bit.
Greek MEP Eva Khali is on probation and without an electronic bracelet. The Belgian Federal Prosecutor's Office has lifted the house arrest imposed on the former Vice President of the European Parliament since last April, after she spent 4 months in prison. Khali was arrested in December for her part in a corruption scandal involving the government of Qatar and MEPs. Both governments angrily deny playing any role.
15 people dead, some 20,000 displaced and livelihoods in tatters. These are some of the devastating effects of the floods in the Emilia-Romagna region in northern Italy. Alongside Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen saw the damage firsthand and offered her support to the victims.
L'Europa è con voi.
The Italian government has announced an emergency aid package of €2 billion, while von der Leyen has stressed the help needed.
It is very urgent to trigger the Solidarity Fund. It has a clear rule. There is a very small prepayment that will be done. It's standardized for every disaster the same, but then there needs to be the damage assessment so that we get a clearer idea about what could be our European contribution.
As stated by EU Commission President von der Leyen, the EU will remain by Italy's side during the emergency, and EU Commission President von der Leyen also confirmed that the EU will provide financial help to support the country as it deals with the emergency. But given that extreme weather events like this one are becoming more frequent in Europe, the EU will have to deal with them not just in Italy, but in other parts of Europe too. Giorgia Orlandi for Euronews in Bologna.
Germany's economy is technically in recession after shrinking for a second successive quarter. Data released by the Federal Statistical Office shows gross domestic product declined by 0.3% between January and March. This follows a decline of 0.5% in the last 3 months of 2022 in Europe's biggest economy. The figures also reveal employment rose in this year's opening quarter, when inflation eased. But this hasn't prevented the country from tipping into what most economists define as a recession.
A man has been arrested after a car crashed into the Downing Street gates, the residence of the British Prime Minister. The Met Police said the man was held on suspicion of criminal damage and dangerous driving, but the incident is not being treated as terror-related. One witness said he saw officers pointing at the man, who was held face to the floor as he was detained. No one was injured in the incident, and Number 10 has confirmed that Prime Minister Rishi Sunak was in Downing Street at the time.
The search of Portugal's Arada Dam is over. After 3 days, police say they have concluded their hunt for evidence relating to the case of the missing English girl Madeleine McCann 16 years ago. The search was requested by German police after they suspected a citizen was involved in her disappearance and was allegedly seen around the dam in Faro several times. Madeleine was just 3 years old when she vanished from her family's holiday apartment in Praia de Luz in 2007.
If overseas voting is anything to go by, the turnout for the second round of the presidential election in Turkey will be high. A record-breaking 1.86 million Turks have voted abroad, and their decision may be key in tipping the balance in favour of the outgoing president, moderate Islamist Recep Tayyip Erdogan, or his social democratic rival, Kemal Kılıçdaroğlu. Erdogan came close to an absolute majority in the first vote, despite the economic crisis and anger over the response to the devastating earthquake in February.
Bakalım inşallah bir şeyler değişir bu seçimlerde de insanlar yurt dışına çıkma ihtiyacı duymazlar. Özgürce yaşarlar, ekonomi düzelir. İnşallah insanlar Türkiye'de kalır çünkü beyin göçü cidden ülkemizi de çok etkiliyor.
But voters in the southern region struck by February's earthquake that killed at least 50,000 people could also be crucial. Many felt abandoned to their fate by the government.
Aynen, biraz acımız büyük. Yani acımız büyük derken sadece beton olarak değil, yani ekonomik olarak değil, duygusal olarak da çöktük. Çünkü herkes bir yakınını kaybetti. Hemen hemen her insan bir yakınını kaybetti, bir yara aldı yani. Onun için yani seçim gündemine, ülke gündemine biraz uzak kaldık yani. İnsanlar biraz daha kendi derdine düştü burada.
Yet many people in the region did not abandon Erdogan in the first round, and in Sunday's poll he remains the favourite. His moderate Islamist message clearly still resonates. Iran has unveiled what it says is its newest ballistic missile, in a move likely to increase tension with Israel and Western countries. Officials say the Khorramshahr 4 rocket has a range of 2,000 kilometres and can carry a 1,500-kilo warhead, putting Israel in range. They also released footage of what's claimed to be a successful test launch of the weapon. Iran developed its ballistic missile program partly in response to Western sanctions that prevent it from accessing modern attack aircraft.
Tributes have poured in from the world of rock and roll and beyond following the announcement of Tina Turner's death at the age of 83. Turner initially found fame in a turbulent and abusive musical partnership with her husband Ike Turner, but later became one of the biggest acts in the world as a solo artist and one of the defining pop icons of the 1980s. Elton John said Turner was a total legend on record and on stage. And he added, "We have lost one of the world's most exciting and electric performers." Mick Jagger, who duetted with Turner during Live Aid in 1985, wrote, "I'm so saddened by the passing of my wonderful friend Tina Turner. She was truly an enormously talented performer and singer." Even former US President Barack Obama tweeted she was powerful, unstoppable, and unapologetically herself. Fellow female singers, including Debbie Harry of Blondie, expressed feelings of gratitude for Turner's trailblazing as a woman in a tough and often discriminatory world of music. Throughout her career, the hits just kept coming. In the 1960s, with her husband, they produced groundbreaking hits such as Proud Mary, River Deep, Mountain High. And then later as a solo artist, Tina gifted us songs like The Best and What's Love Got to Do With It. Turner died after a long illness in her home in Kusnacht near Zurich in Switzerland.
En los últimos 4 años hemos cerrado un total de 1.116 captaciones. Los últimos se concentran en los últimos años con más de 200 captaciones irregulares.
Felipe, what is the number of illegal waterholes here around?
Well, we know perfectly that we have like 2,000 of illegal hectare in the area, and it could be like 1,000 of illegal borehole. So this is like the far west.
Ja, ich habe hier stundenlang die Spur der Schläuche verfolgt und habe den Brunnen hier gefunden. Der ist voll mit Wasser und das ist eine schlechte Nachricht, denn der wurde gebohrt von Wasserdieben. Und zwar gleich neben Donana, wohl der berühmteste Nationalpark Europas. Und da stellt sich die Frage, ob Gier nach billigen Erdbeeren und gierige Bauern zusammen mit der Klimakrise ja dieses Naturparadies zerstören. Ich bin Hans von der Brelie auf der Suche nach Wasserdieben für Euronews Witness.